Jordan, hi. Let's wait a little bit, people. Let's see.
Yes.
Hello to everyone. Hello to everyone.
Okay.
So everything is set up, yeah?
Good morning.
We are 2 minutes late, but let's give some few more minutes for everyone.
Thanks, Manuel, for inviting us.
Let's wait a little bit. 2-3 minutes.
So my mic is on, yeah?
Yes,
I can hear you, Marko. I can hear you, Stefano. No problem.
Okay, nice.
Guys,
nice.
and to see if you hear us correctly.
Yes, please.
Nice. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
So I believe I believe we can start. So Marko, Stefano, thank you very much for being part of this show. A little introduction about the show, about the webinar Insight iGaming. It's the fact that we wanted to come with some simple facts and a way to understand simply the iGaming industry and what it needs to go to be efficient. So let me introduce my two guests today, Marko Jankovic and Stefano Sordini. Stefano Sordini is the Chief Executive Officer of NETSHOP ISP, which is a leading web hosting provider in Malta and Cyprus, located in Malta and Cyprus, with a focus on the iGaming industry. And my dear Marko Jankovic is the head of business development at 𝗶𝗚𝗵𝗵𝗵, one of the world leader when it comes to content delivery network, with many different vertical as gaming, media, e-commerce, so on, and of course, iGaming. Marko, Stefano, thank you for being with us, and let's start with some simple question to make everybody comfortable about iGaming. So, Stefano, maybe you can tell me, what is iGaming? What does it cover?
So iGaming is not to be confused with the traditional gaming industry. iGaming is the term used for the internet or online gambling sector. So the traditional sector, you would find, casinos where you could play roulette and poker. So the iGaming sector is the virtual side of gambling. And here we are to discuss the most essential part of online gambling, which is the infrastructure part. I think most of us has at least once visited a sportsbook website. So the platform that we see where we can put our stakes on, behind this platform or website, you have servers, and most probably for a worldwide coverage, you have a CDN provider.
Marko, do you agree with this small definition?
Yeah, sure. Stefano is well known in iGaming, so I'm sure that he covers everything. Maybe I will add also that we know each other from the iGaming world, so thanks for sharing that with us, Stefano. So yeah, the iGaming, it's not a term for a lot of people mix that. iGaming, it's literally a polite name for gambling and betting.
So yeah, that makes the stuff clear about iGaming, and we can jump into more specific stuff. I'm just going to ask you to be very clear and to be kind of the most simple. Don't forget there is some people like me, not really technical, listening and seeing this this webinar. So please try to make your answer the best way. Like, imagine you are speaking to a 6-year-old and you need to make him understand. Okay.
I'm sure 6 years old nowadays, you know, are pretty familiar with the terms.
Stefano, let's start with you. What are the most popular hosting types an iGaming company needs?
Okay, so generally speaking, there are 3 major hosting types. It's the VPS, the virtual private server, it's the dedicated server, and it's the rack collocation hosting. Whatever type you start talking about, it all starts from a single unit physical server. Now, the VPS, the way it's built, it's a partial slice of that physical server unit. A VPS is, I would say, the most popular type, especially for startups, because it offers low cost to launch your website or your iGaming platform, and also offers the flexibility to scale horizontally and vertically whenever you need it. So you can find, you know, a VPS from €5, and you can dynamically resize it in terms of CPU, hard disk, RAM, and bandwidth as your, you know, website traffic increases. So the server resources will need to increase. The downside of this is, I would say, security and performance. So nothing is to compare with owning the whole physical dedicated server. So there are companies that they have the budget to start with a dedicated server, and they do this so that they have full control over the resources of a physical server. On the VPS side, the hosting provider offering VPS will have multiple clients on that dedicated server. And this is where some people, some businesses might have some concerns about the resource utilization and security. On the other hand, a dedicated server cannot offer as such as dynamic resource resizing as a VPS. Imagine if you start a server with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and at some point you will need to upgrade it. You need to, you know, send an email to your hosting provider, please upgrade the RAM. So this will require some maintenance. But if we're talking about startups in the iGaming sector, from my experience, 90% or more of the startups go for a VPS. The last option is the collocation, which when we refer to collocation, we usually have to deal with established companies who have in-house IT staff, and the only reason that is among the 3 hosting types is because it's an option to avoid having servers and network equipment that are critical to your business located in your office. So the companies will purchase whatever hardware they need, and they will send them to a data center facility to be hosted. This is totally secure. Of course, it comes with more costs, monthly costs, and the need for an in-house IT team or outsourcing, which can also be expensive. So if we have to put a timeline, let's say, on those 3 hosting types, the normal flow is to start with a VPS, then at some point you will need to upgrade to a dedicated server or more. And once you start feeling that you need to own the equipment and you need to have more control, then you switch to collocation hosting.
Great. We have here an overview of the structure.
I hope it wasn't too technical.
I mean, I understood. It was kind of clear, so no problem. It's a clear, it's a kind of clearer structure of the servers. But no, I'm interested. I mean, in that context, Marko, I mean, what are the problems that the CDN, a content delivery network, can solve?
Yeah, I would first things first. I would like to say what a CDN is, since this is the entry-level webinar, as you said, for technical people. So the CDN is the short term of content delivery network, and the main purpose of CDN is to reduce latency between the browser's requests and the server's response. So essentially, the CDN leverage the distributed set of servers, replicating data across the geographic area to enable faster load times of, for example, if you have games, if you have application, or whatever, or website for sure. If you have the field of CDN, it's really huge. I mean, you can literally connect with CDN any online business. So from the websites, the simple websites, to the huge businesses like delivering tons of pictures, high quality pictures or high quality videos. There are a lot of ways to do it. So, for example, when you see the latency, whatever you're doing, are you opening the website, or, for example, watching the video or your favorite show on a Netflix, the latency is partially due to the geographical distance, actually, between the server, original server, that the content, where the content is, and the end user. So in this case, CDN jumps in to bring the content closer to the end user. And that's the main purpose of CDN. I hope that I was, it wasn't too technical.
Specifically, Marko, in the iGaming industry, what is concretely the importance of CDN? I mean, if it doesn't work, like you spoke about the latency, but if the latency doesn't work really efficiently, I mean, what will be the problem? What will be the advantage to have the speed for the iGaming industry?
Yeah, Stefano starts with the hosting, and for example, what we are suggesting for sure is to have these two combined. So hosting and CDN on the top of that. So CDN in iGaming industry, the importance of CDN in iGaming industry is huge. CDN boosts the capacity of the origin servers with numerous of POPs. And the end user can easily place their bets, watch live roulettes, for example, watch live blackjacks, or even lottery without any lags or pauses, or I mean, real time, but literally real time. So with CDN, that is possible. For sure, there are a lot of also things that goes on the top of CDN, or around the CDN, maybe it's a better word, like media platforms that it's the tools with CDN that you can, let's say, combine, and that is the way how to deliver the content easily to the end users. So can you imagine, for example, the betting websites that have download speed of, for example, few seconds? It's practically useless. So CDN that resolve that. So the end users have the real-time results on a betting sites, or real-time results when they play roulette or blackjack. So there is no space for any fraud that is common in this industry, to be honest.
Yeah. Cool. Now that I mean, I understood that the best combination, it's like hosting and CDN for the iGaming that will speed up the delivering of the content everywhere.
I would say, sorry for interrupting, I would say for any industry, but the iGaming industry is specific because they really need, on the top of their infrastructure, hosting infrastructure or cloud, whatever they're using, they really need CDN to deliver in a fast pace to deliver the content.
And also, Manuel, allow me to interrupt as well. Like in the Forex industry and the online gambling industry, imagine that a B2B or a B2C platform wants to go into the German market. So they open up the website for German consumers, and they don't have a CDN locally in Germany. What can happen that Marko mentioned fraud is that a German player might have a VPN in Amsterdam. So he might see the price, let's say the stake from the Amsterdam server that comes faster through the CDN. So he will place the bet on the German, from the German, let's say, IP, which is fraud. So CDN, even for the platform providers like BetConstruct and NetEnt, is very important to ensure that the data goes to the end user reliably and very fast.
And that brings me to my next question about this. I mean, I'm really curious, Stefano. What are the main data types that an iGaming business will require to transfer when operating globally?
So it's we start with the media content, that is videos and images, and this is purely the first two data types that someone will push to CDN. For example, you don't want to host a video in a server in the UK and have a guy from Australia or Malaysia to download it so that he or she can view it. So this is the number one data type in the iGaming industry, and hence the need for CDN. The second one, we have another very important data type, which is the player's activity. So as the players start gambling or there are live tournaments, that data for regulatory or security or even application, for the application's normal operations, need to be hosted in one or more databases. Now, depending on the way the software or the website is set up, you might need to have a cluster of databases. This means 3 databases interconnected to ensure that in case something goes off, you don't lose players' data. So imagine if a player deposits, the money goes in and the server goes down. The client has paid the company, but in his wallet he cannot start playing because the database that sees the deposit is down. So this is a very, very big part when deciding, how to what software to use or which provider to use for your iGaming software. And of course, if we are talking about the regulated environment, the company needs to focus on the jurisdiction where the regulation will come from. For example, Malta, as per the latest EU regulations that were applied, allows you, MGA in Malta allows you to have servers anywhere in Europe, but they demand to have at least one database replication server in Malta, because it's Malta who is liable for any players, for the players' data, for the players' money, and for any disputes that may occur, the end player, will report them to the Maltese authorities. So you might have CDN to deliver the data in a global and distributed network. However, there are some aspects like the player's activity data that need to be stored in a specific data center in a specific country as per the regulators.
We have, Stefano, we have a question on restrictions or legal restriction. We will come that after a little bit later. Marko, you wanted to say something?
I will just want to jump in on Stefano's statement about regulation and everything that he said. So basically, the thing why it's let's say it's really hard to get into the industry, and why this industry needs tons of money to be invested in. It's because of regulations, because of licensing that you need. Also, when we speak about infrastructure here, and what is the main topic here, you need to invest also tons of money in infrastructure. If you need to do a legal stuff, if you need to do, if you want to do illegal stuff, you want to do, let's say, the proper stuff, and you want to make one proper online casino or online betting site. So it's really hard to get in. But yeah, once you get in, you can earn a lot of money.
Marko, I mean, I have a last question for you. I mean, to be efficient, what kind of hardware does the CDN need or use?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the CDN is basically the server, but CDN is using faster and more powerful hardware in regarding to build their network. So for instance, if anybody is looking for CDN, one small tip from my side, it's the better to use CDN that use solid state drives, so SSDs, instead of traditional spinning drives, because with SSDs, CDN can fetch cached objects faster and handle more requests per second. So there are a bunch of CDN providers all over the place. What is the important when you're looking for CDN provider is that you also depends on a business that you run. For sure, if you run the website, you can go for a local CDN provider, I mean regional. But if you look for, if you're running the global business, you need to be sure that that provider have a lot of point of presence all over the place. So that's the most important. Like I said before, that secures you that the content will be delivered without any issue.
Thank you very much for all those answers. It was kind of clear for me. So if it's clear for me, it could be clear for everybody, I believe.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to add before we jump into the question of the audience? Anything you want to precise? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to make more clear? Stefano? Oh, Marko.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, Marko, continue.
Yeah, I would just like to add on the top, when we speak about CDN, I hope, Manuel, that you will create the webinar regarding the streaming, since it's the big part of this topic. So, for example, we as a G-Core, we have our media platform, and we deliver a lot of content all over the place, all over the world. And regarding the streaming, it's also related to iGaming industry in terms of delivering content, like streaming content. It's more and more popular to deliver the live roulette, like I said, live blackjacks, and live games in general to deliver. And more companies every year that I can see on events are promoting that model of gambling, since especially now in these difficult Corona times. So every player wants to be, let's say, not only to watch the interface of some website, also want to see the croupier and wants to see his ball in alive.
That's one question for me. I mean, during this coronavirus pandemic situation, you, Stefano, did you see an increasing of people asking servers for gaming? And Marko, did you see an increasing of the traffic?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, because the results of the pandemic in terms of the infrastructure were not. We had some immediate, let's say, statistics and observations. For example, as soon as the lockdown in Europe started happening, there were major bandwidth capacity limitations from global internet providers in the whole world. This is where the telecommunications regulator in Europe started lifting some limits that used to exist before, because people were at home, they were using more bandwidth. Let's say, instead of being on Instagram for 1 hour a day, you were on Instagram 10 hours a day. I'm sure this created a lot of business for Marko and 𝗶𝗚𝗵𝗵𝗵. In our side, in terms of the impact in iGaming business, unfortunately, it affected a lot the sportsbook platform, because there were no sports. So there were no betting on sports. This is where we managed to offer some flexible payment terms to our existing clients to mitigate the situation during COVID. However, from June onwards, there has been mid-June, beginning of July, there has been an increase on iGaming startups. So we see more and more businesses want to enter the market. Most of them, they start with a platform provider who can provide the software and the payment gateways. And we just try to make things simple for those businessmen who are not that tech savvy. And this is, I believe, what the reason that people have preferred to use NETSHOP for server and hosting infrastructure, in contrast, with other providers where you need to be technical expertise to build your server and manage
Marko,
it.
do you confirm that you have seen an increasing of the traffic?
Yeah, we saw a big jump, a really big increase of traffic regarding CDN. It goes really up. So in the terms, and when we speak about iGaming, yeah, like Stefano said, the sport booking and a lot of betting sites, they didn't have what to present for sure, but the gambling field, it's really huge. So the other things are booming. So like I said, the live things, the streaming of the online casinos, live lotteries are really booming. So the traffic is huge these days, to be honest. Especially, yeah, it's really huge. So yeah, that's the fact.
Great. So I mean, one of the purpose also of this webinar is to let the people ask question to experts. So we have some question actually. Emily asked, what are the legal restrictions, if any, in the e-gaming industry?
That's more question for Stefano. Sorry.
I'm not a legal expert. I hope you don't rely on me and you end up in jail. But from my experience on the infrastructure side of things, of course, if we are talking about regulated iGaming industry, each country's jurisdiction in Europe, let's say, they report to the European framework for online gaming. In addition to each country's specific amendments or annexes to that regulation. For example, Ukraine might not have a requirement to have a server hosted in a Ukraine data center. On the other hand, Cyprus and Malta, they demand that you may have your main infrastructure in Europe, but we need you to have this and that servers in Cyprus or Malta soil. So let's say there is a dispute for an iGaming company registered in Malta. There are a lot of disputes. The authority needs to investigate or even suspend the license. This is where they will need, to have access, physical access to the data center to do any investigations required. If we are talking about the non-regulated side of iGaming, people are free to host anywhere they want. There are some countries, not in Europe, internationally, which are not bind to the international regulations. So, for example, you might have a server in Curaçao. You will not get any European clients, but you will be able to reach other sides of the world without the need.
I believe this is one of the one topic that we can cover in the next episode. Yeah, it's a huge topic. We have another question, maybe Marko, from Dipendra. How much bandwidth requirement do you reckon do you think that will be needed along with CDN?
I'm not sure, to be honest, that I understand the question, but I will try to answer this. So there are a lot of, so as I said, you can use CDN for website, for classic websites, and you can use CDN for really heavy loads, heavy delivery, content delivery. So regarding requirements for bandwidth, it depends which business you run. So if Dipendra can just clarify the question, but what I forgot to say is that you can, if you have a website, the normal website, I mean the basic website, you can use CDN for free. In a lot of CDN providers give you the bandwidth, give you the traffic, some kind of traffic for free. So for sure, it's not a case when you need to deliver lots of content. But if you have a regular website for an online business, any online business that doesn't have a lot of requirements, you can easily use CDN for free.
Marcos, I think I have understood, or if it's not that, I think it's a valid question. What Dipendra asked is, for example, a company signing up for CDN.
Okay.
And, let's say they have a video, which is 1 gigabyte. Will this video require, let's say, the same amount of bandwidth every time is being distributed to each side of the world? For example, there are 3 visitors on a website playing that video. Is caching playing a role so that there is no triple bandwidth consumption on that particular video?
Yeah, sure. No, it's not.
So it's like it's caching on the server. So
exactly.
It's not
it's caching and or copying to the nearest server to the end user. So the content, it's already copied to that server.
Yes.
So I will give you the really concrete example. So if NETSHOP, for example, uses CDN to deliver content, you will sign up with the agreement with a 𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗵𝗵, and whatever, wherever we have a point of presence, your content will be cached. So it counts only when you download something, for sure, and it counts only, let's say, when you watch something that traffic goes on and on.
Cool.
So,
we have a question for you, Marko.
Yeah.
Please don't be too silly. Don't try to sell. But the question is like, what is the advantage of 𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗵 that 𝗶𝗀𝗵 offers compared to other CDNs provider? And the question comes from René Hernandez.
I'll try to be really short on this. So the 𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗵 Labs, the G in this name means games. So we are a part of Wargaming Group, and we literally every piece of our infrastructure was built to support gaming industry. And probably everybody on this webinar knows that gaming industry is really have a big demand. It's the most demanding industry that I know in the world. So we started to build all of our infrastructure for wargaming. You heard about a World of Tanks, probably. Some of you are, some are not, but probably everybody knows it's 160 million players, all over, registered players all over the world. So we started like that, and then we realized that we have a lot of resources to offer to other industries as well. The main advantage is that we have tons of POPs all over the place, that we have the high-end equipment, and for sure we are really strong in CS region, USA, and Europe. Every month we are opening a new point of presence, and every month we're trying to bring more servers to our data centers to improve the quality. I would like to mention also the 24-hour support, real engineers sitting there 24 hours answering your questions, and if any issue occurs, they're more than willing to help you to solve the problem. So that's a long story short. We can organize a sales pitch.
René say thank you, but I want to be fair and make the balance. So Stefano, I'm asking you the same questions. I mean, what will be the advantage of using NETSHOP instead of other web hosting provider?
And there are no other hosting providers, so everyone should be using NETSHOP.
No.
No.
Is it?
You can find thousands of hosting providers out there. What makes us outrun the competition, even companies like Google and Amazon, is first of all our experience in specific industries like Forex and iGaming, and our customer service. Customer service meaning not just pre-sale support, but we go the extra mile to support companies with the applications and software they have hosted on their servers. So if, for example, there is a small business with a WordPress site and they have a security issue, we'll be there to help them, even though we haven't built the WordPress website. For an iGaming company, we will help them in the jurisdictions that we are active, Cyprus, Malta, and UK. We can help them during the whole process of their registration, application, submission to the authorities. So the focus on the client, I think, is what makes clients to migrate from big companies like Rackspace, Amazon, Google to us, because they realize that, of course, we are a small company. However, this is what they want in order for them to focus on their business and not be struggling with the technical part, which is very important, I think.
We continue to have some questions, so this is good. What is gaming? I understand it comes from Emmanuel. What is the gaming business motivation towards Latin American market? Am I right if I translate this like, okay, for the e-gaming, what is the future of the e-gaming in the Latin America, in the Latin market? Probably it's a question due to the infrastructure or maybe the legal part. Marko, Stefano?
If Emmanuel is considering to start, an iGaming company to focus in the Latin market, this is the perfect timing. Latin America is a huge market, and like Europe, regions in the Latin America started regulating the market. This because there is so much volume there, starting from payments to hosting and the end players. Now is the time, if not too late, to invest there because of first of all, the population and the let's say the culture of the people who are into gambling. So you can find nowadays a lot of providers. The payment industry has started being more stable there. So if you end up signing up with any merchants, you will not have to be concerned of chargebacks and things that were happening before when it was a fully unregulated market there.
Thank you.
Stefano will probably agree with me regarding the Latin market. The main problem there these days is that let's say black and gray markets, and the not very clear jurisdiction. So it's basically it's the right time because everything is waking up there. So a lot of CDN users and hosting companies are opening and data centers there, not only because of iGaming but in general. But I mean, I agree with Stefano that it's the right time to invest in LATAM and to start to commence the iGaming business there.
Cool. I think we are arriving at the end of this webinar. I have one little question, just very quick. I mean, if people want to have more information specifically on CDN or on web hosting for iGaming, where can they contact you? What is the most easy way to contact you?
We can easily leave our email addresses and LinkedIn contacts here. If
it is
possible,
already at the beginning, but we will ask. They are in the chat, guys. If you want our email address or LinkedIn, I think it's kind of the business, the business ID in the world for now. So LinkedIn, for example, or we can leave also the email address. And
But Emmanuel, sorry, the purpose also of the webinar, I mean, if anybody needs any advice, how to not only regarding 𝗶𝗀𝗵𝗁, we're not here, like you said, only to promote our companies, also to help people and to, let's say, educate the market, educate the people how to start their business in iGaming business. That's the most important thing. So feel free to ask anything related to CDN or hosting or cloud, even cloud, me and Stefano. So.
Yeah, people think, Manuel, this is my last, let's say, sentence. People think when they hear the word, iGaming or online gambling, that in order to start a new business venture, you need to have, 200,000 or $500,000 in budget. That's not the case nowadays. With companies like 𝗶𝗀𝗵𝗵 and NETSHOP on the infrastructure side, and multiple platform providers like BetConstruct, and not to mention everyone, With very, very low budget, someone can give a try to enter the market. Of course, later on, you will need to, grow the business, check the marketing aspect of it, but it's not so hard, let's say, to start up. It's hard to stay in the market and start making money, but with the right partner, I believe that, whoever is considering it should give it a try.
Yeah, there are a lot of stuff that you need to add on the top of CDN hosting, like affiliates, marketing, regulations, etc., etc. But let's leave that for some other webinar.
So, guys, thank you very much. Maybe many thanks for the webinar in full. So, thank you very much, Irina. Guys, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for the clear question, and thank you for making simple. We will come soon. I mean, for our audience, we will come soon with a next date for next webinar. I think we should continue, and we will. Yes. Stay tuned. We will announce the next topic of the next webinar and the date.
Companies LinkedIn will share the announcement for the upcoming webinar, plus an announcement through email to the existing participants. So we'll let everyone know.
I'll let you guys work. Thank you very much.
Thank you for attending. Stefano, see you.
See you soon.
Thank you for inviting us.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much to the audience. Thank you.
Bye-bye.